The Hara Palace kids are not kids anymore. With a 6 months gap into the story, the Hara Palace kids are now in universities or striving for other things, such as Rona, who is trying her luck at auditions to get back into the singing world. But Cheon Seo Jin is not letting that happen. But Bae Ro Na isn't that crying girl anymore. Rona will turn the tables as she will emerge as a very powerful and strong lady. Rona will follow in her mother's footsteps and try her best to get to the truth of her mother's death and Unbill's unfair admission to Seoul National University. In episode 7, there will be a big audition coming up. Cheon Seo Jin will be working hard to train Unbill, but this time Cheon Seo Jin won't be able to cancel Bae Ro Na's audition because the audition will be international level and out of the reach of Cheon Seo Jin's powers. Unbill, as usual, will not trust in her own abilities and get anxious and scared as Rona will be taking part too. Unbill will stress out a lot, as we know that Unbill's caretaker Jin Hun drugged Unbill with the drug that made her forget everything about Yun Hee and Bae Ro Na's kindness. The caretaker removed the memories because she didn't want Unbill to remember the bad things she did to her. So Unbill is back to square one, but Unbill will definitely get her memories back. I think maybe when she will overdose due to the anxiety of the audition, she will start getting little memories back. Then she will somehow go to the location where Yun Hee died, and there she will remember everything clearly. One of the major events of episode 7 will be Sokkun and Bae Ro Na's breakup. Honestly, we all saw this coming because Penthouse writer does not want good characters to be ever happy. Sokkun will definitely break up with Rona because of his father Joo Dan Tae. There's no way Sokkun will stop loving Rona, but he will have to leave her because he will either be threatened by Dante or Dante will emotionally manipulate Sokkun. Dante will make Sokkun realize that he is his son and that in Sokkun's veins runs Dante's blood. So Sokkun will think that he is also like his dad. This will traumatize Sokkun very much. Sokkun will also find out that Dante played a role in killing Yun Hee, so it will be very difficult for him to face Rona. Even though Rona will still love Sokkun the same and beg him to not leave, but Sokkun himself will think that he doesn't deserve Rona and that by being around Rona, he will harm her only and remind her of his father. So Sokkun will turn rude towards Rona and leave her without telling the true reasons and will say that he's just done with their relationship. Both Rona and Sokkun will be extremely hurt, but as these two are made for each other, hopefully they will get back together by the end of the drama. Kangmari and Suryeon have joined hands with each other and are working together to fight against Dante and all the other evil people. Kangmari's husband Pil is still bound by Dante, so he can't support his wife going after Dante. Pil will continue to beg Mari to stop going after Dante as he wants to protect his family. Kangmari will let Pil know that she is not going to back down at all and that she is not afraid of Dante. Kangmari and Suryeon will be using fake personalities, as we can see that Suryeon is using the getup of Naegyo and Kangmari will be using a red wig. These two women will be deceiving people and will do business by using these fake personalities so they don't get in trouble. Also, Suryeon is probably wearing a wig and not actually cut her hair, because we can still see her long hair in the preview. This is actually a good thing because Suryeon's originality is her long hair, and it doesn't mean Suryeon is turning into some other person. Suryeon is still Suryeon. She will just be using the disguise of Naegyo for her benefit sometimes. Now comes the most fun part. Suryeon will have a complete plan set up to destroy Dante and give him a very big loss. Suryeon says these lines to Kangmari: "You don't have to die to end up in the pit of fire." That means killing Dante isn't the only way to make his life miserable, but she can make his life miserable in other ways too. That is by taking all his money. In episode 6, we can see Dante and Kyojin talking about this Duhai construction lobbyist that is competing with them in business. But Dante thinks that this Duhai construction is new to the business, so they shouldn't worry. Well, that was his biggest fault because Duhai construction lobbyist is Shim Su Ryeon. Duhai construction and lobbyist will make a very expensive and big deal with Dante. Dante will suddenly get very interested in the deal as it will be very profitable. But Dante will need money for this deal really bad. Dante will take out all his money, but he still won't have enough to make the deal possible with Duhai construction. So Dante will go to the chairwoman of Hyung, that lady who comes to the bathhouse of Kangmari. Dante will take a loan from her, but as you know, you can't take a loan without any security. So Dante will give Penthouse to the chairwoman as collateral. So basically giving something as collateral means that if Dante is not able to give back the loan to the chairwoman will have all the rights over Penthouse because this was the part of the deal. Now of course Dante will be fooled because when he will go to make the deal with Duhai construction lobbyist, Shim Su Ryeon will make an iconic entry. Dante will find out that he just got fooled. He will lose all the money and the penthouse if the plan goes on perfectly. Shim Su Ryeon will kick Dante. Dante will come out and beg Suryan for mercy and to give him back the money. Suryan will not listen to him and start her car. He will beg her in front of her car too, but Suryan will start the car and start driving towards him. Suryan won in taking away everything from Dante, but she will still be extremely angry and would want to run her car over Dante and kill him, but she won't be able to do so. So she will drive past him and leave Dante there sitting on the floor helpless. Now you must be wondering, if Dante is now helpless, that means it's the end for him. Well, not entirely. We know that Dante always has his means of coming back. Also, Dante still has shares in Chonga Arts. This is just the beginning for Suryan, but hopefully slowly she'll be able to defeat all the evils. Also, I think Mr. Big Jung Ki will also be playing an even more evil role. So Suryan will have additional evil people to fight with. Suryan will also get a call from Yoonchul. Does that mean they will finally start working together? It's possible that Yoonchul will let Suryan know that Logan is alive, but the chances for this are still low. There's also a chance that Yoonchul helps Suryan in making fool of Dante with the whole Duhai construction plan. Yoonchul also says these lines, "I'll save her no matter what." He could be saying this about Rona. Maybe Suryan will tell Yoonchul that Rona is in trouble, so Yoonchul will say that he will save her no matter what. So drama family, that was it for today's video. Please comment down below with your thoughts and views. Please do subscribe to the channel. It helps me a lot in continuing to make these videos for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Take care drama family. I'll see you all with the next video very soon. Bye bye.